So I want to talk about something that I've been using a lot more recently, and honestly, I wish I had started using it sooner. I'm talking about AI, but more specifically Claude, which is made by a company called Anthropic. Now, I know a lot of you have heard about ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, but here's what I've noticed. Most operators I talk to think it's either a gimmick or they've tried it once and they don't know what to do with it and they just never came back. When you open up Claude, it's just a blank text box. It's not obvious how this is supposed to help you run a limo business. But here's the thing. Once you figure out the right way to use it, this thing is like having a part-time employee who's available 24/7, never complains, and can write better emails than most people you'd hire. I'm not exaggerating here. There are certain tasks in your business where AI can save you hours every single week. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 specific ways you can use Claude in your limo business. These aren't theoretical. These are things I actually use, things our clients use, and things that will genuinely save you time and help you make more money. I'm going to show you real examples of how to do each one. So let's get into it. All right, so the first way to use Claude is for responding to leads and writing quote emails. And this is probably the one that's going to save you the most time on a daily basis. So here's a situation. A lead comes in through your website. Maybe they filled out a form. They need a sprinter for a wedding. Pickup is at a hotel. They've got 12 people. They want 5 hours. Basic stuff. Now, what do most operators do? They either send back a super short response, usually just the price, maybe a one-liner, or they spend 15 minutes trying to write something professional. Here's what I do instead. I go to Claude and I say something like, I run a limo company, a lead just came in with these details, wedding, 12 passengers, sprinter, 5 hours, pickup at the Marriott downtown. Write a professional quote email that sounds warm and personal, mentions our 5-star reviews, and includes a call to action to book. And in about 10 seconds, Claude gives you a fully written email, personalized, ready to send. You might tweak a word or two, add your actual pricing, and you're done. That took maybe 30 seconds total. And this email is better than what most operators would write if they spent 15 minutes on it. Now, here's why this matters. We've talked before about how important it is to respond to leads fast, ideally under 5 minutes. Well, if you're spending 10 to 15 minutes crafting perfect responses, you're already behind. With Claude, you can respond in 2 to 3 minutes or less with something that sounds like you spent way more time on it. The other thing I'd recommend, create a few templates of your most common requests. Now, many of you might already have this, but for those of you who don't, things like airport transfers, weddings, corporate events, party buses, save these prompts somewhere and you can just swap out the details each time. Now, responding to leads is great, but there's another place where AI really shines in. Honestly, this is the one where I think most operators are going to find the most valuable, and that's handling your Google reviews. This is a big one, and here's why I think is actually the most valuable use of AI for most operators. So reviews are everything in business, especially now. When someone Googles limo service near me, what do they look at? Your reviews are not just the star rating. They read the actual reviews and they read your responses. If you've got a bunch of 5-star reviews with no responses, that's a missed opportunity. If you've got a negative review with no response, or worse, a defensive response, that's hurting you. So here's how to use Claude for reviews. For positive reviews, you want to respond to every single one, but you don't want them all to sound the same. So what I do is I take the review, I paste it in a Claude and say, hey, a customer left a 5-star review for my limo company. Please write a response to their review. And Claude will pull out all the details. Maybe they mentioned their daughter's wedding. Maybe they said the driver was professional, and it'll write a response that actually sounds personal, not the same. Thank you for your review. We appreciate your business. That's boring. This is personalized. Now, here's where it gets really good. Negative reviews. Most operators either ignore these or they respond emotionally, which both are going to be wrong. When you get a negative review, here's what to do. You paste it in a Claude and say, a customer left a 1-star review. Write a professional, apologetic response that doesn't get defensive, acknowledges their frustrations, and offers to make it right. Keep it short and invite them to contact me directly. And Claude will give you a professional, calm, non-defensive response. And this is huge because when you're reading a bad review about your business, your first instinct is to defend yourself. Well, actually, the customer was 20 minutes late and traffic was bad. Look, no one wants to hear that or cares. Claude helps you step back and respond the right way. So let me show you this example. Let's say someone leaves a review. Driver was late, ruined our anniversary, dinner plans, never using again. See how that doesn't get defensive? It acknowledges the issue, apologizes, and offers to make it right. That's the response that makes other potential customers think, okay, things happen, but at least they handle it professionally. Here's the thing. They don't respond at all because they don't know what to say. With Claude, you can knock out all your review responses in 15 minutes and they'll be better than what you'd write yourself. And remember, responding to reviews isn't just about that one customer. It's about every future customer who reads those reviews, sees how you handle things. All right, so we covered lead responses, reviews. The next one is something that ties directly into what we talked about in my last video, follow-up sequences, because getting the leads is only half the battle. So you've probably heard me say this before. Most operators give up way too early when a lead doesn't book. They send one quote, maybe one follow-up, and then they move on. Meanwhile, that lead books with someone else who actually followed up. Here's how Claude can help. Instead of trying to come up with follow-up messages on your own, you can have Claude write an entire sequence for you. Here's a prompt I use. Create a follow-up sequence for a Limo lead who requested a quote but hasn't booked yet. Include day 1, initial follow-up. Day 2, email with testimonial. Day 3, message check-in. Day 5, final call to action. Make them sound personal, not salesy, and Claude will give you messages ready to go. Then you can load these messages into your CRM and tweak the timing. And then you've got an automated follow-up system that sounds like you wrote each one personally. Now, the other things I love is post-ride follow-ups. After someone uses your service, you should be reaching out to them to thank them and ask for a review, but most operators either don't do this or they send the same generic message every single time. With Claude, you can write something like, write a thank you message to a client who just used our Sprinter service for a bachelor party. Make it personal. Mention that you hope they had a great time and include a soft ask for a Google review. Takes 10 seconds, sounds personal, and it's different every time. The point here is consistency. Following up is one of those things where most operators know they should do it, but they don't because it takes time and mental energy to write all those messages. Claude removes that barrier. Now you have no excuse to follow up. All right, so the next one's a little different. It's not something you'll use every day, but when you need it, it can be worth thousands of dollars, and I'm talking about corporate proposals. So let's say you're trying to land a corporate account. Maybe it's a law firm, maybe it's a hotel that needs transportation for their guests, maybe it's a company that wants to set up regular executive travel. This is where the big money is. One corporate account can be worth tens of thousands of dollars a year. But here's the problem. Most operators have no idea how to write a professional proposal. They send over a price list and hope for the best. That's not how you win corporate business. With Claude, you can write a real proposal. Here's what I do. But first, keep in mind that the key to writing a good proposal is understanding the customer's needs. If you don't do a proper needs assessment first, the proposal is pointless. So what I would do is use Claude to brainstorm. Give them your context and let it come up with the questions to ask the client. The reason for this is sales is not about telling the prospect how long you've been in business, how you never show up late, how you never overbill, and on and on. It is about asking the right questions, because when you ask the right questions, it becomes obvious that you know what you're doing. Then at that point, once you fully understand the client's needs, you can prompt Claude something like, write a professional proposal for a law firm in downtown Chicago. Here is a transcript of the call with the client. And Claude will give you a full proposal with multiple pages and completely customize it. And so that's really a big point here. And that is, you want to have recordings of the sales calls you do. And when I say sales calls, what I'm really referring to is the needs assessment. You're not trying to sell someone something. You are trying to be a transportation consultant, almost like a concierge. That's where the value add is. And so if you go into it with that in mind, then you have a much higher chance of winning that corporate client. So making sure you're asking the right questions and really that you're demonstrating your knowledge based on asking those questions. All right, last thing. I want to give you a few bonus uses that I'm not going to do a deep dive in, but they are worth mentioning. So here are a few other ways you can use Claude that I've found helpful. Social media posts. You can say, write 5 Facebook posts for my limo company promoting our wedding services, and you'll get a week's worth of content in 30 seconds. Same thing goes for Instagram captions. Same thing goes for Google Business Profile posts, whatever. Hiring chauffeurs? Need a job description? Write a posting for a professional chauffeur. Requirements: clean driving record, customer service experience, appearance, and then include what makes our company a great place to work. Done. Training materials. You have Claude write entire SOPs, so that's standard operating procedures for your new drivers. Write a guide for new chauffeurs covering vehicle inspection checklists, client greeting protocols, handling delays, end of trip procedures. That's your training manual right there. Analyzing data. This one's a little more advanced, but you can actually upload spreadsheets to Claude now. So you've got lists of all your leads and bookings. You can upload and ask things like, what's my close rate by vehicle type? Which zip code are my best customers coming from? It's like having a data analyst on call. The point is, this is a tool that can do a lot, and the more you use it, the more you'll find ways to apply it to your specific business. Start with the main ones: lead responses, reviews, follow-ups, then experiment with the rest. All right, guys, let's recap. 5 ways to use Claude AI in your limo business. 1, responding to leads and writing quote emails. Save 10 to 15 minutes per response and sound more professional. 2, handling Google reviews. Personalized responses for positive reviews. Calm, professional responses for negative ones. 3, creating follow-up sequences. Build out your entire text and email follow-up system in minutes. 4, writing corporate proposals. Compete with the bigger companies by putting together professional sales materials and then all the bonus stuff: social media hiring, training materials, data analysis. Here's the thing I want you to take away from this. AI isn't going to replace the personal touch that makes your business special. Your clients want to work with you, not a robot. But AI can handle a lot of the writing and the administrative stuff, the boring stuff that take up your time, so you can actually focus on running your business and taking care of your clients. Now, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have questions about how to use Claude for something specific in your business, drop it in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.